Welcome and thank you very much for checking out my review of A Good Woman is Hard to Find. I stumbled upon this movie a few days ago. It's directed by Abner Pastal and it stars Sarah Bolger. And I have some conflicting things to say about it, so let's get started with this. We follow a recently widowed young mother who will go to any lengths to protect her children as she seeks the truth behind her husband's murder. Now, as I mentioned in the opening, I stumbled onto this film by accident. I had never heard about it, but I recognized an actress that I like from such things as Mayans MC, Counterpart, and Once Upon a Time in the poster, so I decided to check it out. This is an indie-Irish film that ran the indie festival circuit last year, and it's recently had its online release. And for the most part, I really loved this film. Sarah Bolger is a tour de force in this film. She is a true force of nature. This is by far the best performance I've seen from her. Probably my favorite performance of the entire year of 2020 thus far. And not only does she give a good performance, but the film does a really good job at making you root for her because the writing for her is just stupendous. You can clearly see she's tired. She has two young children, and doing that plus her work day-to-day basis, plus being frustrated about not knowing what exactly happened to her husband, she's being harassed, and then something happens one day when she's at home. A guy steals some drugs, and he breaks into her house, and he decides to make her house his safekeeping place. That's where he'll keep the drugs, and then at night he'll come over and start selling them around the estate or the small town that they live in. And that right there to me really hooked me because that is simple, but it is a great conflict because she also has something to gain from it. She is not doing well financially, but this is a help that, despite morally gray, will actually put her on the good side of life and will make her able to take care of their children, bring food to their home, and maybe even hire someone to help her find her husband. Now that might seem like I spoiled a lot. I really didn't. This is like the first 20 minutes of the film. This is how the film gets started. And again, the character work, the performance from Sarah Bolger, and the story that is happening with her and the drug dealer is really, really engaging. They start to form a relationship. She tries to ask for his help in helping find what happened to her husband. They had really engaging conversations. The scenes were really well done, and I was in. I was so in for this film. Then about the halfway point through this film, it takes a turn, and that's something I'm not going to spoil. But from that on, it just becomes something mundane. It doesn't become a bad movie, it doesn't suddenly start being shot very badly and the music is awful and the performances go down. No, Sarah Bolger is still fantastic throughout the entire runtime of this film, but in terms of a story, the film loses its edge. It loses kind of that something new that it had. I don't remember ever seeing something like this before. But when it comes to the 1 hour mark, from then onward, it's just fine overall. It still has all the qualities that it had on a technical level, but as far as the story is concerned, it just becomes very generic, and I have to be really careful about what I say about that second half of the film because it really is spoiling what happens at that halfway point that really damages this film for me. For the first half, it is an extremely harrowing and tense film that feels like it's going to lead to an unbelievably satisfying payoff. The payoff is not that satisfying, but it is enjoyable. But to get to that climax in the second half, it feels like the film starts to slow down instead of speeding up. It feels like it loses its tension instead of cranking up the tension as it goes along. So the film really loses something special that it had on that first half because of a certain decision that I just couldn't see why they did it there in the middle of the film. I would have left it until the end. For this performance, or how well the movie is shot, and you can tell they had little to no budget on this, this is a great achievement, and I hope it at least gets eyes on Sarah Bolger. At least more eyes there are on her right now because she absolutely deserves it. I'm giving A Good Woman is Hard to Find a B-. Now, wonderful geekies, let me know what you thought of A Good Woman Is Hard to Find. Have you seen it? Have you not? And what is your favorite indie thriller of the last few years? Thank you so much for watching. You are the best. Stay tuned for more reviews. And tomorrow I'll have my podcast, Geeks of the Round Table, with Zach Pope, live on YouTube at 9 a.m. PST. So come join us, please. And stay tuned for many more videos this week, including reviews for The King of Staten Island, The Five Bloods, and Artemis Fowl. I can't wait to see you on all those. And so until the next one, stay beautiful, stay geeky. Don't forget to subscribe and like, because it really helps me and the channel out. But most importantly, above everything else, forever and always, love each other and love the movies.